Okay, ladies, so I'm going to talk to you all about meal planning and how I do it to make this simplified. There's a few things that I do first. First, you need to know what plan you're on, so make sure you have the right calculations depending on the workout that you're doing, depending on the workout time that you're doing. If you need help with that, ask your coach. But for me, I'm on Plan B. And so I take the Plan B example, and you can find all of these in the program details or message your coach and she can send it to you. But on the Plan B meal plan, they already show you the container counts and where to put them. But typically for me, I do a red, a green, and a yellow for my breakfast, and I do a red, green, and yellow for my dinner. And then I fill in my containers for the rest of my meals. The orange container and the blue container, I leave kind of open depending on what I'm going to make for dinner for the week. And so if I'm going to have tacos for dinner one night, I know I'm going to save my blue for either cheese or avocado, so I can put that where I want it for dinner time. The orange container, same thing. I might just save it for some pine nuts to go on my salad, or I might, save it for coconut flakes or something like that for my oatmeal in the morning. So those two containers are kind of just there. I put them wherever I want during the day. But then the rest of the day, the only containers I have to really think about are making sure I get in my lunch and my snack time. Those are just going to always be usually fruit, vegetable, and protein. But I use that as my guideline. So I start out my plan. I write red, green, and yellow for breakfast, red, green, and yellow for dinner, and then I go to Fixate either on BOD or I pull out my cookbook. And I go through here and I pick out one breakfast item, like for this. Well, that was be for like dinner. So for breakfast, I would probably do just like oatmeal, scrambled eggs, and some spinach. So that's my red, green, and yellow. And then I have a teaspoon in there for like the oils that I'm cooking with. And then I'll pick out dinner. So one night we'll have tilapia tacos, and that's gonna be my red, green, and yellow. And so I'll write that down for one of my dinners. And then I go through and I fill out and say, okay, well, what snacks do I want to have? So then I fill in, I know what I'm going to do for lunch. It's usually leftovers from dinner, or I pick out a lunch that's also a red, green, and a yellow. That way, all the other meals are very basic and they're easy to fill in. When I do all this on Saturday and Sunday, I will show you exactly how I do it. But you guys, having this is super helpful because once you know what you're going to make for dinner, you can take these ingredients and put them right on here. You have your grocery list, you're ready to go. Makes it really, really easy. So that's basically how I do it. I don't use a lot of different cooking things. I don't use a lot of different recipes online. Every now and then I will, but when there's so many already on Fixate, there's really no reason to go anywhere else. They make it easy. You know your container counts. That takes out your thought process for trying to calculate everything. But just having like a rundown of where your containers go. And when you're new, following the guidelines and saying, okay, this is what I'm gonna have for breakfast, so I'm gonna pull these out for the week. And making it really, really simple. If you're still struggling with it, I recommend you doing the AC style. So watch Autumn's video on that. Basically, you pick out a protein and you pick out a carbohydrate and you pick out your fruit and then you put them all in big containers, like individually. And so when it's time to eat your red and purple, you just go to the refrigerator, scoop out a red, scoop out a purple, and there's no thought process. It can be kind of boring eating that way, but in the beginning, just getting the habit down of what containers to eat when is going to be really helpful for you. And then you can kind of branch out and try some recipes and do some different things. But if you're really struggling to get your containers in, I suggest you go back to that style of eating just for a short time to get in that habit.